If you asked me 10 years ago who's D&D's biggest villain, I'd have said, because I've always been scared of strangers. But if you asked the internet, you'd get answers like this guy, him, her, or maybe even this guy, who isn't the focus of this video, by the way. But if you asked today, there's only one answer. Vecna was born at the tender age of 0, a human on the planet Oith in the city of Fleet. Did you just say Vecna was human when Eve of Ruin says he was a half-elf? Typical trash clickbait nonsense. I know! Okay, I know. The lore on Vecna is contradictory. I'ma just put up these asterisks where sources diverge, okay? He was at least half human and was born in Fleeth. Vecna was part of the untouchable caste, the lowest of the low in the hierarchy of the city, and was trained in magic by his mother, Mazel. What a nice mother-son bonding experience. Oh, she's dead. Yeah, you're not allowed to practice witchcraft in Fleeth. The brutal death of his mother, combined with his own growing fear of mortality and appreciation of thrash metal, pushed Vecna to dive deeply into the dark arts. There are a bunch of theories on how he actually became a Lich. Some say he learned the ritual directly from Orcus himself. Orcus is the demon prince of undead, but honestly, that's a different video. Another theory is that he attained power through years of horrific exploitation of incalculable innocent people, like how Nestle did. But the most widely accepted theory went like this. Hey, child, do you want to learn some magic? Wouldn't it be nice if we were all... This is Moxilic, said to be the literal personification of the concept of magic. They're one of the ancient brethren, being so old they might predate the gods. The Lady of Pain and Asmodeus might be part of this group too. In fact, some sources say this serpent is Asmodeus, but that's a different video. By whatever means, Vecna became a Lich, and the first ever Lich as well. That means he is immortal, an undead whose spirit puppeteers a physical body. You can't kill a Lich. It can regenerate a new form even if its body is totally destroyed. The only way to put one down for good is to destroy its phylactery, the spirit jar used to store their life force. It's basically a Horcrux, like from Lord of the Rings, or the One Ring if you're familiar with Narnia. Vecna is now immortal. He looks like garbage, and he's starting to write a Twilight fanfic novel that will come to be known as the Book of Vile Darkness. Not much is known about the first 1,000 years of Vecna's lichdom. It's like your first year in college. The whole thing, total drunken blur. What we do know is he re-emerges in history a millennia after his transformation, ruling an entire empire in the Sheldamar Valley on Oith as a Lich King. During this reign, he took revenge on the city that killed his mother and nearly destroyed Fleeth until the clerics of Foltus blasted him with what every basement-dwelling nerd fears most: sunlight. Or, more accurately, concentrated divine sunlight that struck the left side of his body. Vecna was only saved thanks to his apprentice, a cambion named Accererak. Look, it's the guy! It's the guy from the cover of the book! Accererak was a half-demon, and his mother was also murdered at a young age by the people of his village. And not content with only ripping off Vecna's backstory, Accererak also craved lichdom. In fact, he craved it so much that he actually set up the ambush on Vecna to happen so that he could swoop in and save the day. That is S-tier scheming bitch behavior, and after years of sucking up to Vecna, Accererak finally learned the secrets of lichdom for himself. He then fled, knowing Vecna wouldn't tolerate another Lich as competition. He'd go on to create something called the Tomb of Horrors. Oh, sorry, the Tomb of Horrors. But honestly, that's a different video. Vecna was furious that his secrets got out, and henceforth swore to keep all his fanfics locked tightly away, earning a reputation as a keeper of secrets and mysteries. This also left an opening for a new bestie, and guess who's got 2 thumbs and psychopathic tendencies? Kas was originally a paladin pledged to a god of death, but was seeking a little more purpose in life. AJ also says Kas gives theater kid energy, so Make of that what you will. Also, do you remember the city Vecna was battling before he took a faceful of Godflame? Well, he's finally won. After crushing the city's defenders, Kas tortured a prominent family in front of Fleeth officials for an entire day, and then forced them to listen to Lil Dicky featuring Chris Brown for an entire 2 minutes. Amazed by this cruelty, Vecna upgraded Kas to BFF and then slaughtered every person in Fleeth, except the officials. He then let the officials go after stacking the skulls of everyone in the city in front of them so they might live with their failures. They must have felt like the luckiest people in the world. Oh, you're letting us go? Oh, no! I loved all those random poor people. The weight of my failure. Oof, owie. Okay, bye. With Accererak gone, Kas is now Vecna's most trusted lieutenant, and this worked great. Kas had no ambition for the same power that Accererak sought, so it was a healthy, consensual sub-dom relationship. But then, Vecna gave Kas a devastatingly powerful sword infused with a fragment of Vecna's own consciousness. It's a great plan, except Vecna is an asshole! And so is the sword containing a fragment of his personality. It started whispering to Kas, convincing him that he should rule instead. Kas chose his moment of betrayal at the most ironic moment, when Vecna was attempting to achieve apotheosis in his rotted tower. This ritual would have seen Vecna ascend to godhood, but instead the two had a vicious fight that saw Kas banished to Ravenloft and Vecna's entire body destroyed except for his left hand and eye. Now, my favorite interpretation of this story suggests that the only reason Vecna's left hand and eye weren't destroyed is because they were blasted by divine energy from those Faltus clerics earlier. Thus, in a way, Accererak actually did save Vecna's life, which is just nice storytelling. Vecna's partial apotheosis ritual and the faith of his followers allowed his spirit to endure after his battle with Kas, and he became worshipped as a demigod of secrets on Oith. His cult even nearly managed to raise him to full godhood, but the power of the simp only goes so far. Over the course of this potential ascension, there are many, don't worry, Vecna managed to kill 7 of the 8 wizards of the Circle of 8 through the body of Halmadar the Cruel. And these guys were no joke. We're talking about the biggest wizards in the business, whose names are all over the D&D magical canon. Bigby, Nistel, Jalazi, Otto, Rary, all dead. Only Mordenkainen was able to survive. Granted, the others came back, but do not sleep on Demigod Vecna's power. He is probably the strongest wizard in the multiverse. Ultimately, the ritual to bring Vecna to full godhood failed, and he was banished to the realm of Cavatius on the elemental plane of Ash, which was then pulled into Ravenloft itself. Garbage place to be, but that's a different video. This made Vecna and Kas roommates again, and Kas had been twisted into an immensely powerful vampire by this time, or he always had been. Kas is another of those characters who really puts the dick in contradictions. The two fought each other endlessly over control of this hellscape. Some say they were cursed by the dark powers to never see victory, forced into an endless, hateful stalemate. Others say the pair were secret lovers. Me. In probably his most infamous act, Vecna managed to escape Ravenloft by absorbing the divine essence of Luz, the Oitharian god of deceit and evil. Bam! Vecna is finally a greater deity, full-on god mode. He then managed to break his way into the city of Sigil, the city at the center of the Outer Planes, being the only deity ever to do so. His plan was to recreate the multiverse in his image. Vecna merchandise as far as the eye can see. We're talking Vecna bobbleheads, Vecna plushies, a Vecna McDonald's crossover meal called the Vecnugget Combo. But his plans were thwarted by adventurers, assisted by the Lady of Pain in the adventure Die Vecna Die. After he lost, he was separated from Luz and demoted from his greater deity status. The Lady of Pain then sets about reconstructing and repairing the damage to the multiverse Vecna did, which is when 2nd edition becomes 3rd edition of D&D and explains the many changes to magic and the multiverse at this time. Understandably embarrassed, Vecna laid low for a long time, collecting Stranger Things royalties and ruling as a lesser Oitharian deity. At some point, he stole stole one of the mysterious black obelisks and used them to erase their creators, the Weavers, from existence. Why did he do this? We have absolutely no freaking idea, seeing as the plot thread was completely abandoned by the developers, as Brodius is the truest evil after all. This all brings us to the events of the 2024 adventure Eve of Ruin, where Vecna and his followers once again try to raise him to the status of greater deity. Oh, look, guys, sometimes you just gotta keep trying the same plan. It's gotta work eventually, right? The heroes have to use the legally distinct Infinity Gauntlet to stop him. Kas was also released from the domains of dread by the Dark Forces during this time, knowing he'd go straight after Vecna and potentially finish him off. This means the heroes have to stop Kas as well, because nobody steals our glory. The story concludes with Vecna's ritual being disrupted, again, and he gets kicked back to Oith, again, where he remains a demigod to this day. He's evil, he's basically unkillable, and he's a great example of what millennia of unchecked mommy issues does to a guy. Credit where credit is due, though, considering how much he's bounced around from man to lich to lesser and greater deity and back, he's remained a terrifyingly powerful wizard and constant multiversal threat, largely due to his infinite lifespan, incredible patience, and towering intellect. But don't get it twisted, kids. Vecna is a failure. He was the first Lich, but despite his best efforts, the secrets of Lichdom have long since spilled out. You can't swing a cat in the Forgotten Realms these days without bumping into a Lich, and they've even got Draco-Liches now. But honestly, that's a different video. Like these! These are all different videos, you should watch them! Thanks to Ash Ellie, AJ Pickett, and Genghis Sean for consulting on this script. Shout out to Kiefer for animating. Today's lucky word was Vecnugget. Like and subscribe, do the thing, bye.